see the first die roll. You only see the result.
I think Brian probably beat the 4, I have to imagine.
Good. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
No, is Brian left-handed? Interesting.
It seems to be so.
Main phase.
But he definitely does seem to be going first here.
And we do have Cody on Tearlaments, which we've seen him play in the past, and Brian on Labrynth, but with a heavy focus on all the Labrynth cards. We can already see multiple copies of Labrynth monsters coming from his hand.
I believe he's opting to use the effect of the Chandelier instead of the Stovey. They both do essentially the same thing, where they're able to set a trap card directly from the deck. But as far as their graveyard effects go, one summons itself, one adds itself back to the hand.
Yeah, definitely want to add it back to the hand.
Yeah. Nothing to say about.
And now he has the big welcome Labrynth set. Sets 2 more cards face down. No Ariana.
Yeah, not the ideal opening of Ariana plus Ku Klux, where you're able to use both welcomes, just basically establish the monster on the field, go after a card in the hand. But, you know, if we're talking about how strong that play is against all the other decks, not necessarily that strong in Tearlaments. It's a bit dangerous, right? You can hit so many cards that just trigger. And in this situation, we talked about in previous matches where we saw Tearlament, how it's so strong at cracking fields. When you're playing against the Labrynth deck that is really just trying to focus on getting some powerful interactions from the trap cards, that is something that Tearlament has always been really strong at dealing with, especially when you're playing against the more monster-heavy version with the furniture cards. You have less actual resources in your set. You're focusing on trying to get a couple of the most consistent, powerful ones. But again, not that strong when you have so many ways to push through. This is what Tearlaments has always made its name in, is clearing through those like single points of interaction if they're not locking you out of some kind of mechanic.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those decks that can really push past defenses. And we see Cody starting off with one of the strongest cards, Terraforming for Pressure Planet Raceoff. That grabbed the Fenrir, which used its effect to grab another copy of Fenrir. And now he opened up with a Parallel Rhino as well, so he's using Primeval Planet Parallel Rhino. Going to be able to add a Tearlament monster. Oh, no, I think he added Tearlament Kashtira with the Kashtira Fenrir, actually.
That makes a lot of sense. Just being able to start the chain here, having all those free cards in, all these ways to just apply pressure. And Parallel Rhino, we talked about before, I think that is the ideal starter card you always want to have in the Tearlament strategy. Because not only are you able to access your engine, being able to get those names that are now mostly limited except for that Rhino Heart, but you also get that additional bonus of when those Tearlament monsters are put back in the deck, you get to go after another card on Brian's side of the field. Or, well, not necessarily Brian's side of the field, but probably from Brian's side of the field in this case. Yeah, you get to really pick away at those set spells and traps.
Yep, and we saw him add Tearlament Shiren off of the planet, and now he also has Foolish Burial Goods, which is a pretty powerful card since he can send Tearlament Soliak, and then since that's into the graveyard, he's going to be able to add a Tearlament monster from the deck to the hand. I love Foolish Burial Goods with Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. I'm just a really big fan of Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. It just feels so good when it resolves, but, you know, Cody having the Primeval Planet Parallel Rhino here, that wouldn't be very useful since he's already used it.
Yeah, he's used both field spells already.
Which is a great start for him. It looks like he added Havnus with Soliak.
I think that's a Rhino Heart, actually. Oh, and he has Scream as well.
Sure.
So he has Rhino Heart, Shiren, as well as the Tearlament Kashtira. Oh, we also see a Keldo there. This is honestly looking reminiscent of the full power hand.
Yeah, I mean, he drew really well, that's for sure. Sure it looks like a Havnus. Oh, no, it is Rhino Heart. It's Ultimate Rhino Heart. Yeah, the circle part kind of looked like Havnus' like wings.
I would never forget Rhino Heart.
There's the ultimate rare ones are beautiful.
Absolutely. I love these cards from these OTS packs.
So he's going to send the top 3 cards from the deck to the graveyard to Scream. Doesn't hit anything. And now, see, look, tell me those cards don't look similar right now. And now he's going to send Havnus to the graveyard with Rhino Heart after sending the 3. So now he can use the effect of Havnus. Let's see if that prompts a response from Brian.
Those cards sent to grave from Scream may not seem all that threatening prior, but if you look at it, the King of the Swamp can be quite literally anything, giving access to Grapha, but the Ghost Match is going to cut him short. He only has a water and an earth on the field. That is not ideal, kind of the opposite of what you want to see. Yeah,
this is going to be tough for him. Do you think you keep... let's see if he keeps the water. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing he can do.
Yeah,
this Gozen match is pretty impactful.
I think this was a slight misstep for Cody here. When you're playing against the Labrynth strategy, you kind of know what you can expect. All the regular trap cards are not really going to be that threatening. So now he's forced to summon a water. No, it's likely going to be Rukelos, right? Oh,
because the King of the Swamp can count for the Kiktalos. Yep. It's also a water.
Yeah. So now he gets to go after a set or any real card with the effect of Parallel Rhino, opting to leave the Ghost Match on the field, but we end up hitting a Daruma Cannon, which is going to be able to put those monsters face down, which will still unlock the attributes for Cody here. if he wanted to respect Gozen match a little bit more, he could have activated Sheeran in his hand prior to using the effect of a Rhino Heart. But I guess that would have simply met with a chain Gozen match, would have locked him into Earth. So this was actually probably a better consideration.
I think it worked out pretty well here for Cody. He still does have that Sharon in hand. Just taking a minute to look through his extra deck, see if he has any other plays from here. See if does he discard the Medora for Sharon?
Yep.
Or is it Medora or Keldo?
One card in hand. Correct.
One of the shufflers.
I believe it is the Keldo, but he has to be really careful here. Opting not to get rid of the Gozen match because he wants to lock himself into Darks later.
yes.
But Dark is absolutely the attribute you want to have. He's going to go for the Medora here, which is actually fairly useful against the Labrynth deck. Oh, there is a copy of Scream and a copy of
what's his grave effect?
Grief.
I think it adds a banish.
It adds a
from
banished
okay.
trap
Feller
card.
trap, yeah.
But the Scream will be able to grab a copy of Sulik here if there is one remaining in the deck. Oh, there might not be. It seems like there are two in the
graveyard.
grave.
Yeah. Does look like he only plays 2 copies of Sully.
Sure.
That's fine.
Being able to attack
for
for
23? Yeah, that's fine.
Gets that 500 boost from Primeval Planet Parallel Rhino.
not in the worst position here. Unfortunately, that Gozen match. You know, why do you think Cody was so okay with the Gozen match being there when he had so many powerful water monsters already? Like, do you think the individual trap cards, usually they are going to be chainable?
Yeah, usually. He might have been just worried about another card. Like, while Gozen match like hurts, it's not just game ending for him. So maybe he's just trying to deal with that because he's worried about a more powerful trap card being set.
There's also the world where you get to get rid of the Sheeran. Like, even worst case scenario, if the Sheeran manages to find its way in the graveyard, you can use that effect with Keldo in the graveyard to banish itself, put the Sheeran back in the deck, and then be able to trigger the field spell that way to go after the Gozen match later.
Yep, definitely. And he also has the Medora, too. That'll be able to use the planet to
special
do
summon,
the same thing as well.
Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Stovey.
So he's going to use Stovey.
If the monster was sent back here to the hand, so we're going to use Stovey to send himself, or Stovey to summon himself rather, and then the Shang to add itself back to the hand. That's going to trigger the Keldo here. Just going to put those cards back in the deck, probably as well as the welcome.
All three going back into the deck.
I'm still in the end phase. I'm going to activate Stovey Torture.
Going to discard the last 2 cards out of his hand to set Welcome Labrynth, or Big Welcome Labrynth. But I'd imagine it'd be Welcome Labrynth here. Looks like a quarter-century secret rare.
Absolutely. When you're such a fan of your strategy, you often try to go to as high of the rarity as you can.
Oh, yeah.
Brian has been a big fan of this Labrynth strategy as of late.
You said regular welcome, right?
Correct, yeah.
All right, Cody still has this Scream on the board.
Yeah, Cody ahead in card advantage by a significant margin right now. But it doesn't take much for Labrynth to start picking up the pace.
Yeah, they kind of just keep cycling and can do the same things and being able to reset trap cards, set traps from the deck. Once it gets established, it's hard to deal with, but
Chain one effect.
So he's going to summon Ariana.
Correct.
Gets to add any Labrynth card here.
He's going to mill 3 first, or send 3 cards from the deck to the graveyard.
Oh, there's a Tearlaments Kashtira, so there could be 2 more.
Yep, send a couple more down.
All it takes is to hit one of the 2 remaining Tearlament monsters here.
No triggers.
Activate a trap, right?
A normal trap turn that is active, that is set if I control a Labyrinth monster. Yeah.
Very important to remember, Kuklok, you can only use one set that was set that turn, but you also must control a Labyrinth monster to be able to use it. There's a Fender, and there's a Rhino Heart. Unfortunately, not going to be able to activate the Rhino Heart even if he had a card in hand because of the Gozen match.
Yep.
I will... I make a clock. Set.
And then he
Activate.
sets, activates
Big
Big
Welcome.
Welcome.
This is going to be able to put the Ariana back in hand, summon a monster, being able to trigger the... It looks like that's lovely.
That is lovely, yep. She's gonna
My
put the
triggers will
Ariana
be
back.
Chainlink 1.
So he gets to
Chainlink
reset
2
a trap
Stovey.
from his graveyard.
Stovey's going to be able to summon itself back. I believe both
I will
the
be
big ladies, or Lovely and Lady, are level
Tarzan?
8, so he has access to Chaos Angel now.
I will be destroying...
That's kind of the cool part of using all the Labyrinth monsters. You have access to the extra deck, which you don't normally expect from a Labyrinth strategy. Well, now you do, but at the beginning it wasn't so popular. But ever since Chaos Angel came out, this kind of version of the deck has really taken
I'll be
off.
targeting Daruma Karmakana.
So he's going to reset Daruma, Destructive Daruma Karma. That card has been everywhere this weekend. It is a fantastic card. I think a lot of people like it against the Kashtira matchup. So a lot of people have been looking to use something that can flip all monsters on the field face down.
Yeah, choosing to put cards face down instead of like allowing them to go to any other place where you can access them again seems to be the way to really deal with monsters right now. All right, seems like those are going to be used, I imagine, for the Synchro Summon of Chaos Angel. I believe, so was every one of those monsters light?
Targets.
I think they're both dark.
Oh, okay. Well, that works too.
Screen.
Those may have been 2 darks, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, both
two
dark too. Okay.
So what's the dark
So
effect?
on the summon,
my monsters can't be destroyed by battle.
yeah, we'll be able to be affected, but on summon, he gets to banish a card in the field. It's going to banish that Tearlaments
Battleface.
Scream. Would you go after the Scream or the planet?
I think the planet can do more harm in the long run.
So it goes in with
But
trigger
Scream's like the
trigger.
immediate
It dies
threat.
right away because you already control a dark.
This?
I think so. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Which
it would
do I
be
choose?
flipped immediately and
He
then
attacked the
removed.
Rhino hard,
But
it
because
flips.
it's flipped in
Do
the
I
damage,
get
there was
to
not
choose
going to be a replay. But Gozen will
I
be
think since he's
removing it
controlled
instead of being
dark,
destroyed by
he
battle.
can't sign it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, those in you can only control.
One attribute.
But it
It's
flips.
gonna die in battle, so you don't choose it's gonna die.
But it flips up though.
But he's locked in the dark. That's
So what's gonna happen is it's gonna enter battle, it's gonna flip, but it's gonna die from battle. So it's gonna go to the grave.
Without this triggering? Like, without this applying?
Correct.
I mean, Gozen wouldn't also destroy it either. It's just sending it to grave by a game mechanic.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any difference
That's a
either,
bad
right?
game.
Yeah, I don't think it would change
yeah, but I
anything.
think
You can't
he
summon
do
the
it because
Rhino
he's
hard.
locked in the dark, so he doesn't have a choice because he's already locked in the dark.
The main attribute right now you have is dark, main attribute you have is dark. Entering battle is gonna flip the card face out.
Yeah.
It's gonna see that it's water, but because it's entering the battle, it's still gonna go to grave.
But this is during damage step that it flipped though.
Correct.
So I still have a window to activate cards.
It wouldn't be covering.
What effect are you trying to activate in the damage step here?
It's gonna cause it to go straight
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
If I don't choose between
I don't think so.
water-
Oh, you do not get to choose.
Oh,
No, you
yeah, no,
absolutely do not
that's
get
what
to
he's
choose.
asking.
Oh,
Okay,
what's
now
that?
I
Oh,
understand.
passive.
Yeah, you don't get to pig just because it flips place up. You definitely, he was just trying to get that Sharon off the field.
Yeah, he wants to be able to use that Tearlament Cashier that he has sitting in his hand.
Yes. Yeah, you don't get to pick. The Gozen will just, you have to stick to that original attribute that was already on the field. It's just like you were to attack a
you have
face
to
down defense
control
monster, flip face up, send it to the
level
grave.
eight or higher.
Yeah. Its main effect is I would bounce a Fiend monster I control, but if I have a bigger one, I can choose one you instead.
So you can only target yourself with it right now?
No, I can target yours.
Okay, it doesn't have to be you.
Clarifying the effect of the welcome in the grave.
It does have that bonus effect to return a card on the field to the hand.
And if you control a level 8 or higher fiend, I believe, you get to target any monster.
Yep.
There.
All right, Cody going on the defensive, putting Sharon in defense mode, sets one card face
yeah.
down.
Cody really being punished here for not respecting that Gozen match. Usually, I guess in a
Main face?
majorly dark strategy,
Sorry?
you still can be punished because I think at this point there are more darks in Brian's deck than there are in yours.
Mm-hmm. That's certainly true. Now Ariana coming
Chain.
down.
And I will activate it.
We're discarding that as well as impermanence to be able to set another trap card here.
Beautiful infinite permanence.
Ryan really, really loves this deck. You can imagine that Ariana is also collector.
Oh.
Those seem all collectors rare.
Yeah, it looks like he's playing the field spell Labrynth. Really useful in the mirror match.
I will activate the face wall.
Yeah, it seems like Brian is really choosing to have as much of an engine as possible so that he just gets that incremental value once his engine is set up much heavier.
Effect, target Ariana.
So he's going to use big welcome Labrynth from the graveyard to return Ariana to the hand.
My triggers will be
And now
chain
since
link
the monster left the field due to a trap
1,
card,
chain link 2,
he's going to be able
chain
to
link 3.
use all the Labrynth cards. Going to reset Welcome Labrynth and special summon Stovey.
Add Shining back to hand.
I will activate effect of Stovey Torby.
So it'll be from the field using its effect to be able to set another.
Brian showing you the power of Labrynth when you know how to use your cards. This might be like one of the best Labrynth clinics I've ever seen because he didn't open up really strong. He's been able to amass this board just by throughout his plays, really showing the power of those in-theme monsters if you include all of them in your deck.
Absolutely. And this is going to show, it seems a little expensive at the time. It's a kind of a 2-for-1, right? You get to spend 2 cards to get a trap from your deck. But because they're so good at recurring themselves and constantly keeping this resource loop going, they just add more and more to your advantage as the turns go by. All you have to do is really survive.
And that looks like what Brian is doing here, not wanting to take the Chiron off the field, puts his Chaos Angel in defense mode, can't be destroyed by battle since it was made with dark monsters, so he's just going to wait until he has everything he needs to finish Cody off.
And face?
Cody forced to just pass turn back. They're just only going to get worse and worse
As
here.
an additional effect, I'll destroy your set card.
Brian going to be able to use Welcome to summon Lady Labrynth here. Going to go after the set. It looks like it's a copy of Tribute Karma.
Ooh, yeah, definitely better in the graveyard than on the field here for
Is
him.
this trapper effect that I
sorry,
can
what?
respond to?
It's not this one. This one
No,
just
like
can't target
the
it.
side card. Is it
Sorry?
trap activation or effective trap?
It's not this one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he was using the effect
Yeah.
of Labrynth
On
because a
I'll
card
activate
was
Big
removed.
Welcome Labyrinth.
I believe it's whenever a Welcome Labyrinth card is activated, you are able to additionally destroy one card.
I think so, yeah. It can also gain that effect. It's like adds the effect onto the
trap card
Yep.
itself.
And Trivia Karma is going to be banished here. He's going to be able to add any spell or trap that mentions Vsauce Starfrost.
I imagine he's just going to
Plan it.
Yeah, because he didn't choose to. I mean, it made sense at the time because there were 3 live effects in Brian's graveyard. But if he attempted to add back
Bounce
Assault
this
to
back?
his grave, from his grave to the deck,
right.
I think that would also be a very reasonable choice to add here.
My triggers will be Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2.
So, Lovely
That's what it is.
is going to reset. Stovey's going to come to the field.
Stone in phase. I will
Lovely,
summon.
not necessarily only having to go for the hand. You can also go after cards from the field, and he sees that dealing with the field is much more relevant right now.
Yep, sent that set
Targeting
monster to the
permanents.
graveyard. Going to set infinite permanents from the deck with Lady's effect.
I
Going
wonder
to make another Chaos Angel.
Yeah.
And yeah, Cody has seen enough.
He's kill monsters.
Those have been the bane of Tearlaments since they've been released. We'll have to see if Brian's going to be able to draw into those. See a handshake here before game number 2. And you do see Cody with that Cosmic Cyclone in his own hand. I think I saw Tearlaments Heartbeat as well. That's not a great start using King of the Swamp. It's something, but Polymerization, while it's a good card, not the best card in Tearlaments.
Yeah, I mean, if you already have one of those Tearlament monsters in your hand, it could prove quite
think it
fruitful.
was.
Just giving you access to a bunch of additional bodies, setting up 2 essentially tier searches or
Like
2
you
triggers.
get to use like the Tearlament from your hand to make the first fusion, and then it triggers the effect in the graveyard to make the second.
Yeah, a lot better when you had access to something along the lines of Kiklos, but still not that bad. Oh, following up with a Rhinoheart is actually very, very strong. Putting that Aqua in the graveyard, or not even just Aqua, any potential name, but cutting it off with Infinite Permanence right away.
Sometimes this is just good enough against Tearlaments.
Okay.
Infinite Permanence historically has been very, very strong in this matchup. Now it looks like there's a lot of spell cards in Cody's hand. Not going to be able to follow up really easily here.
Yeah, the Heartbeat and Cosmic Cyclone are going to help against the trap cards, but it doesn't really have anything too proactive. I see Keldo.
It's a lot of removal. There's Keldo, Heartbeat, Cosmic Cyclone, and another spell card. I think he's going to set the Heartbeat. He's going to keep the Cosmic in his hand, try to play around the Stovey here.
Okay.
Oh, there's Lovely Labyrinth. Because a trap card was activated this turn, Infinite Permanence.
Yeah.
Yep. Lady's going to come down. That's so cool that you can do that off the Infinite Permanence. That's so strong. But holding the Cosmic doesn't have any of those in-theme monsters to really set a trap from the deck. I imagine that's what Cody was thinking about. Do I set the Heartbeat and the Cosmic, or do I hold the Cosmic to try and have the blowout there?
Attack for 1,500.
Just going to go straight to battle phase. Probably trying to test for something like Tearlaments Solic.
Absolutely. You want to really play around that if you can. If you want it, before you commit something along the lines of Ariana.
So yeah, 65. Okay. Main phase 2.
Oh, you're setting 2 more cards here. I think at this point, all the
nothing's
is maybe another copy of Tearlament's Rhinoheart, but it looks like he's drawing a Tearlament Scream right now, not what you want to see without any Tearlament cards to his name.
He does have the Heartbeat, so he'll be able to. That's not going to really do much help.
It's going to add another card that requires a Tearlament card.
Nothing in the main phase.
Oh, this is.
End phase?
Did he set the Scream, I believe?
Okay, Big Welcome
I think he might have set the Cosmic side. Oh no, he did send the Scream. And there's a big welcome here. He's going to be able to add the Lady back to his hand, summon potentially Ariana or Lovely. Probably just Lovely in this situation.
I think so, yeah. Cody's definitely on life support right now. He's in a bad shape.
This is, again, the Tearlament strategy, usually good at applying that pressure, but not doing it right now. Labrynth getting all the time it needs. Cody just firing off the Heartbeat, trying to pick apart those resources.
I saw this one.
So he's chaining this now, trying to cut off the Lady
no
Labrynth
small
from setting another trap card.
Okay.
Looks like he's opting to go after the polymerization, leaving the Keldo in his hand. He sees that one of his potential win conditions is drawing one of the effects to be able to send 5
New
each.
chain, effect
So if he
movement.
ever draws either Kelbeck or Agito, he can use the Keldo from his hand.
That's very
Kinda-
true. Heads up. Sometimes, like when you have a bad hand like this, you just have to play to your outs.
Absolutely.
Odd even.
Let's see if he gets to keep it in the hand or if it's going to be sent. All right.
Oh, there's the Cosmic Cyclone. He still has that
still
chance
in
to
face?
high roll.
Spell summon?
It's getting dicey. Summoning back the
Draw for
Lady. He has Lady and Lovely on the field now.
Stand by phase?
This big welcome in the
Effect
graveyard.
target permanents.
So he's going to use Lovely to reset the infinite impermanence.
Yeah, this really takes away the Rhino Heart as a solid out to the field.
And he gets to put it in that same column as the Scream since he set the Scream. So now if he even draws the Tearlament Monster, it's going to cut off the effect of the Tearlament Monster and the Scream.
Brian paying attention to all the little things he can gain advantage from here.
Heads up play here from Brian. Really showing you the power of Labrynth and why it's one of the top contenders this weekend.
Absolutely. Swinging for some big damage as well. That's 59 points of damage. Let's see if
Cody's going to do Miracle. It's a Super Poly?
I think that is another spell card.
Does he play Super Polymerization? No, he does side deck it, so I think that might be what he draws. He could go into Garura, maybe? I'm assuming they're both Dark Fiends.
Yeah, going into Garura here, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough.
I don't think so either. I'm looking.
He could deal some decent damage, though.
It is Super Polymerization, discarding the Medora.
Now he really wishes it was one of those other two. Being able to potentially mill or send top 5 cards of his deck to the grave would have been really strong here, but unfortunately it's one of the ones that put cards back from the graveyards to the deck. And there's the Garura in defense, not even trying to hit that 3,000 points of damage.
I do love that his damage is doubled. That is such a fun way to end games. It's like, oh, I can just make the Super Polymerization for 3,000 damage.
It's nothing to be taken lightly either as well with Pearl Rhino giving it an additional 500 boost.
Oh, yeah. Cody in a tough spot right now.
That's good, yeah.
Pretty much locked down.
Yep, not needing to use that infinite permanent set there. The other two, likely not any of the welcome trap cards. I'm just passing back here. Maybe not having any engine access after those Labyrinths are gone.
Maybe that Super Poly could turn things around here. Did he draw a Tearlament monster name?
It looks like, yet again, not a monster.
All right, Brian going to draw. Let's see if this stalemate.
Main phase?
Oh, he's about to normal summon
Ariana.
He was very excited about drawing that. He knows he's mere moments away from winning this game and moving on with a really good shot at making top 64.
At the very least, the welcome in his graveyard is going to be cut off by the Keldo in Cody's graveyard. So it's not a huge swing yet, but I think it is already pretty strong, just giving access to another welcome trap card.
And main. Good.
Going to go ahead and set it. Now Cody's going to draw. Does he draw any help?
Oh, there's the Tearlament Scream. Is that his second copy?
Heads up to, that is a terrible draw, but heads up, it actually kind of works out because now if he's able to resolve it, he doesn't have to worry about the infinite permanence, but Brian's going to use that big welcome Labrynth.
Trying to put the monsters on the field before a Tearlament card or a Tearlament monster hits the field.
Lovely.
Something lovely from the grave. He's going to destroy. Is he going to go after the card in hand? Yeah, he is going to go after the card in hand, and it is the Rhino Heart. Very predictable here. I mean, he did have the infinite permanence. He wasn't too worried about it.
But at least you don't have to worry about that Scream to send 3.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep. Cody admitting defeat here. Sees that he didn't have any resources really going for him at this point.